Hello and welcome back, Army people. This is maybe going to be a VIP video, maybe not. I don't really know yet. It's pretty generic information, but we've talked a lot today, the past few days, about finding value. People wanted to see sort of a process video about identifying value plays. Your best bets, honestly, are to go to the DFS Army and look at free squares and look at Analytics Corner and look at Boomer's Ballers and look at all of the content that we have, the DFSA grades in the lineups page. I'm going to pick 3 spots today that I do look through on a regular basis when I'm trying to find cheap value bats that are in good spots. It doesn't mean they're going to go off. I'm looking for maybe a $2,200-$2,300 bat that gets me maybe 6 points. Doesn't get me a 0. That's really all I'm looking for out of those really cheap guys. And the number one way to do it is to get guys high in the batting orders that are going to get a 4th or 5th at bat, as opposed to maybe you only get 3 or 4 at bats. That makes a big difference over the long run. And if you do that consistently, I mean, on night to night, it's going to work, it's not going to work. I mean, your leadoff guy is going to go 0 for 5 or 0 for 6, and your 8th place hitter is going to hit a home run or something crazy. So, I mean, on any night, it doesn't really matter. What you're trying to do is you're trying to pile up those at-bats and give yourself more and more opportunities to actually score points, because they're $2,300 for a reason. They're usually going to draw a walk, maybe slap a single somewhere, and not really do a whole hell of a lot of damage. Otherwise, they'd be $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 players. So I'm looking for non-zeros. And I can find that in game logs and whatnot. But one way that I do that is I will go to Fangraphs, which is a free website, and I will go to Leaders 2017. It'll bring up this page. I'll sort by player stats, which should be defaulted. I will cut my split down. You can see it's customizable. I'll cut it down to 7 days, and I will go with a minimum plate appearances of 10. I don't necessarily want the qualified ones because I don't mind platoon guys. I want to know if a guy pops up in a lineup or pops up hitting second tonight, that he's in a good spot, and that he's hot, because baseball is a streaky game. We talk about variance all the time. I don't know why this doesn't click, but a lot of people only look at season-long numbers. I don't give a shit what the guy did in April at this point. It doesn't matter anymore. Guys get hot for a week or two, and they get cold for a week or two, and I want to be on the train and off the train. I don't need to be the first one on the train. I'm not trying to predict it the first night it's going to happen. Take some cold streak guy and say, oh, tonight's his night, he's going to bust out. I need to see an indicator that he's turned things around, that he's maybe seeing the ball a little better, or that he's changed something, looking for certain pitches in certain spots, and is able to actually start driving some balls. I'm not just going to just take it on a whim and say, well, I know he's hitting like crap, that he's facing a bad pitcher, so he has to do well tonight. No, he does not. That method, to me, it just doesn't make a lot of sense. What makes sense is after 2 or 3 days of a guy hitting hot, his numbers will jump. And when I notice his numbers jump, I hop on the train and hope they continue for a day, 2 days, 3 days, a week, something like that, and I can ride him while his price is low on its way up, and then get off of the train when I see the numbers dip. The way that I do that on Fangraphs is I go to the advanced tab after setting these other parameters up, and I sort by OPS or OBP. OBP is getting on base and not allowing outs, not taking outs. Slug is power, and OPS is OBP plus slug. So you got Mark Reynolds, who's probably seen his price come down from earlier in the year a little bit, hot as hell. Encarnacion, Scooter Gennett, who had him? Brian McCann, Ionetta, Malik Smith, Jose Perella. These types of guys are not too expensive if they're getting at bats and they hit the starting lineup. Peter Borges, of all people, had a good week. No, he's not a good hitter. He's not. But he gets hot once in a while. And if he's going to sustain his hot streak for another day or two, you need to be on that train, because you can get a $2,200, $2,300 player for, cheap, that gets you 6, 9, 12 points or something, and that allows you to go after those bigger bats. Stephen Drew, we know Castro's been hot, Moustakas, who are some of these? Utley's been cheap, Wong, Spangenberg. These guys are guys that are all hitting over 1,000 OPS. They're doing well over 1 week. Their OBPs are also going to be over 400 for the most part. These guys are getting on base. In some cases, look at this, may have been getting on base multiple times per game for multiple games last week. That's the only way you arrive at this number. Did it with a little bit of power, too. Got lucky a couple times. He's not a power hitter, but occasionally they run into one. So that's one way to look. Go to Fangraphs. It's free. Sort by these parameters. Sort by OPS. Look for the hot hitters. See if you notice any cheapies in there that are really doing well. See if they're in a good spot tonight. See if they're facing a bad pitcher. See if their offense is supposed to score a lot of runs. See if they've got good splits against right-handed pitchers or left-handed pitchers or whatever you typically look at when you dive a little bit deeper. This is your surface indicator. This tells you that a guy might be in a good spot. Now, you've got to do your diligence and you've got to double-check these numbers, but that's your first step. Fangraphs runs a little slow on computers, so I'm going to go ahead and close it out. The next stop that I make is, or one that I will make frequently, is Analytics Corner. It's a VIP-only article. For those of you that are not part of the DFS Army, you need to consider signing up. I will put a link in the description to the video below. You need to use code WIN, W-I-N, and unlock a 7-day free VIP access trial. We're at what, 20, 25 bucks a month, something like that. Usually you'll see all of our VIP content. You'll get to kick the tires, test drive the vehicle. See if you like it. See if you like the community. We don't give out lineups. We teach you how to build your own lineups because we feel that that's what's going to make daily fantasy sports better as a whole. And that's where our coaches, we've all kind of come together and decided we get more pride out of helping you get better yourself, because if you teach a man to fish, you know the whole song and dance. Anyway, 7-day free trial, dfsarmy.com. I'll put the link that you can follow in the description, and give us a try. If you like it, stay with us. If you don't, at least you tried. It didn't cost you anything. I think you'll like us. Our community in Slack chat, you ask questions in real time. We've got a great weather guy in there, DFS MLB weather now. We've got Boomers Ballers on a daily basis, this Analytics Corner. You've got my chin music. You've got a lot of these guys that bounce around and create a lot of very, very good content, not just baseball. We've got, I don't know if we're doing WNBA yet, but we do have a good portion of NASCAR. We had some winners there. PGA, when football rolls around, it'll get crazy in there again. So this is one of the things I would recommend when you open up access to this Analytics Corner page. Run down to the info tab that it opens up on default and read the information that is in here, the terminology. You want to know what WOBA against is. K per 9 Sierra is a popular question. And what is a good Sierra versus a bad Sierra? Why do you think I target 5s and 4.5s? Because they suck. I want my bats going up against bad pitching. Looking down here at bats and the terminology, WOBA, hard contact, fly ball percentage, all this stuff, swing and strike, etc., etc. You want to know, again, what the good numbers are and what the bad numbers are, what numbers you're looking for indicators. Great. You go into the write-up itself, and this is how you're going to find some of these bats. You're going to scroll down to the games that you want to see. Washington. Let's see if there's any Washington bats that are running good. I look at the 2017 stats as a baseline for where the guy's running, and then I look at how he's done over the last 14 days. Is he above his baseline? If he's above his baseline, he's running hot. Now, you can use this in one of two ways. Some people, contrarian people, like to say he's going to cool off. I'm off of him. I'll take the chance on him settling back down towards his numbers. A guy like me says, I'm going to ride the train until it kicks me off. Those other guys, the contrarians, will see a guy running well under his numbers for the year, like this minus 11 on this 49. And I know it's not, Ruiz. I'm just throwing him out there because I saw the number. You're going to look at him and say, hey, he's due to come back up to the 50 that he runs at, and when he does, he's going to be hot for a while. Okay, I want to see it a little bit first. I'm not going to touch this guy. I'm looking for green. So, and I don't even need green in the season numbers because, like I said, who cares what the guy did in April? I'm looking for green right now. So, Inciarte's playable. I guess this is the Atlanta Braves lineup. Inciarte's playable. Kemp is playable. Flowers, playable. If I go down to Washington, Turner, playable. Zimmerman, still playable, believe it or not. Daniel Murphy, playable. Pittsburgh Pirates and Colorado Rockies, Blackman, playable. The rest of them, not so much right now. Last 14 days, playable. McCutchen. There's your Diaz, the Dipsy Darling, Dandy, whatever Dick Vitale used to say. Just look for the green numbers. There's an easy way. Find cheap ones. Ian Happ, 2,600 on Fanduel, not running that hot. 3,500. He was there for a while. 2,200 for Wilson Contreras. Want a power hitting cheap catcher? Take a shot on him. Let's see if we can find a bona fide value play. Let's see. If I scroll past them, there's one. Daniel Nava. Hot over the last 2 weeks. Hot. $2,200. Value play. He might work out for you tonight. He might not. Okay? This is how you find value, though. 3,300. If he hits, a home run, that was value for Herrera, right? Herrera is a 2 and 3 hole hitter for Philadelphia sometimes. If he's running this hot, put him in there for $3,300. Could be a value play. May not be deep value at 2,300, but he could be value. So that's another way that I go looking through there. The other way that I do it, if you follow Chin Music, you know that I go searching through roto grinders a lot, and then I look for high implied run totals, and I start looking for cheap bats. And then I click the versus right or the versus left, pop it out, sort by 1 week OPS, and I look for hot bats. There's Herrera, 3,300, Nava. You want a mini stack? You saw they were both green, right? Put them both in there. If they get the Porcello, you're good to go. Check the BVP numbers if you want. See if they've got any kind of history against him. But as you're scrolling down here, Tim Anderson could be value at the top. I'd like to see him a little bit cheaper. Matt Davidson's definitely value right now. If we pop him out, maybe we've got time to search for this. But, I mean, these are just 3 ways that you look for value. I hate it when the screen does this. But versus a left-handed player, I want to go to 4-week numbers. And I want to sort by ISO and look at the OBP numbers with it. I guess I don't have my OPS in there. Damn. Okay, well, we'll just run by the old OB ISO numbers. OBP, Matt Davidson, where is he? Let's sort by OBP. I mean, there's a million ways to skin a cat. Matt Davidson over the last 4 weeks versus left-handed hitting. And I use 4 weeks for left-handed pitching because I want 20 at-bat sample sizes. I don't want an 8 at-bat sample or a 4 at-bat sample. It doesn't really tell me much. 20 starts to tell me something. So 23 at-bats, a 435 OBP. He is not making outs right now. I mean, he's not perfect, but he's great. 400 is a great OBP number. It's hard for these guys to sustain that number. He's running hot. He's got a 300 ISO. Add them together, it's a 739. That's why his WOBA's over 500 if you follow WOBA. It's a great WOBA if you follow it. This is what we're trying to do. This is a hot bat. He's 2,500. Deep value. Would you take him over a Paul Goldschmidt? You might. Depends on what you want to spend your money on elsewhere. We'll get into roster construction another day. But you might sacrifice on first base because the value here, there's so many options. There's 10 options at first base tonight, all over, priced over Matt Davidson. So you take a Davidson, save money there, and then go spend up at second base on Jose Altuve. Or go spend up at catcher for a Buster Posey or somebody like that because that position happens to be pretty scarce. I mean, do what you want. Don't always punt second base just because everybody else does. Go pay up for a Daniel Murphy when he's in a good spot. Take your savings in the outfield where there's always thousands of options. Take your savings at first base. Take your savings, at third base at the power spots. Or, hell, take punt catcher so you can go spend up in the outfield. Whatever. Make sure, though, that you're doing it for a reason. Make sure when you find a hot bat, like a Matt Davidson who's definitely running hot and is dirt cheap, make sure you're putting that guy in there. Make sure they're stacked up against a bad pitcher tonight, which I know the White Sox are. They're going against Baltimore. So when you've got the stars lining up, that's how you find your value. Hopefully that helped. Hopefully that at least gave you a couple of options to look for. Make one your routine. Study it every day. And if you want more information and deeper information, follow that link to dfsarmy.com. Use the code WIN. Trigger your 7-day trial. Jump in there. Ask me questions. I'm at Chapo-Dong. You can follow me on Twitter. Ask the other coaches questions. We'd love to help you. Guys, take care. We'll talk to you soon.